if you're the old taunt druid.
It sure can. You're a little bit slow to set up, and by the time you really get that kind of infinite chain of pressure going, where you can just get a huge board and then threaten like branching past lethal at all time, by the time you've set that up, a good heavy cycle Shudderwock list is going to be 80% of the way through their deck at that point and be very high odds of having everything they need, particularly if they're like a Hemet Jungle Hunter list, right? So throw on top of that they have disruption tools for you with Hex as well, that they can stop your inevitability in the end. And yeah, it's a rough matchup.
Yep. And all those cards you named, you know, just kind of naming cards that Sentinel just happens to have all of those things that you named. A lot of cycle heavy stuff. He's got a Hemet Jungle Hunter. He's even got Shudderwock.
No way!
And Hex.
What?
Crazy.
Sentinel talking to himself. With the deck list right in front of you, is it the Keleseth version that Sinto is running?
Yeah, he's running Keleseth version.
Okay. So he does actually have the opportunity to just load out on board and ramp up. I'm sure TJ's just appeared in front of us. He's just waving like a goofball. Yeah, there it is again. That is TJ right there.
Tell you what, though, Sinto is looking calm and collected this morning. I just forgot to take the sticker off his hat is all.
It's really, really strange because Sintolol, when you see him on camera or when you kind of read things, you know, free of inflection that he writes on Twitter or whatever, he seems like quite an angry, bitter guy. When you actually talk to him in person, he is the most chill dude I have met.
He's definitely a chill dude. Like chill dude, I think, is a much more accurate name than Sintolol.
Just change his name?
Yeah.
Just form a team with Daruk.
Yeah.
Chill dude and fresh dude.
Yep.
They just need a third member to join the HCT team standings.
You just need a third type of dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what that dude is, but it's got to be, can't be fresh or chill, but needs to be in the same department.
Same department?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, no Keleseth. There is a mind control tech, though, but that very rarely comes into play. They get to the point where they just mash out the huge board. It's probably spells trouble for the Shaman anyway. You really got to get your job done before that. The one thing it can interact with sometimes is a Master Oakheart turn. Yeah, it can come down to that.
And you see Saiyan a little bit pained by the sight of that Manatide Totem, and that's because he's got nothing to do to kill it unless he just wants to draw some extra cards. And I'll tell you, doesn't want to do that. This matchup can get really tough for just Saiyan, but goodness, it's gotten real tough real fast.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll give my opponent 2 card draws to kill his thing that draws him cards just does not seem like a logical thought process to me.
It sounds bad, and that's because it is bad.
So, okay, if I'm Sinto in this position, I'm already looking towards that Acolyte Volcano play for turn 8. So this early now, turn 5, I think you've got to think about dumping cards out of your hand to make sure that it's relatively low as you roll into that turn 8.
I'm right there with you.
Sinto disagrees, though. He's just going to drop the Acolyte.
This is a form of card dump as well. I mean, he goes into 7 cards in hand. He's got the Manatide cranking. Saiyan showed he can't kill it, so that means he can't really kill the Acolyte either.
Sure.
And so you just start ripping stuff onto the board, and eventually it gets to a point where, you know, maybe Sintolol's in a lot of trouble. Swipe gets drawn. Man, this is a weird hand from Saiyan. I feel uncomfortable for him.
He just ramps, goes to 8, has Dragon Hatcher available to him with the coin on the follow-up.
Primordial as well. Could definitely see like a Primordial into swipe turn. Just strands a lot of mana is the issue. Yeah, Sintolol wanted 1 draw off of that. He wants none of that nonsense.
Wow.
Again, I don't blame him. I mean, Manatide's cranking for 5 turns now.
Right. The Manatide is definitely the justification here that, you know, already kind of goes against what I'm about to say, but I am a little worried for him because he doesn't have really any of the tools that he needs. He doesn't have a Shudderwock, a Grumble, a Life Drinker, a Hex even would give him a huge amount of security.
His hand does suck right now.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to.
Right. So with the quality of the hand that I saw on his 5-mana turn, did definitely feel like a 3-draw Acolyte was somewhat of a necessity. But hey, you know what? He can still get one.
Yeah, how about 4 draws?
That works too.
But he's not killing Sleepy Dragon if he does that. It's not killing the Dragon Hatcher either. That's a much bigger
That is, yeah. Or a smaller or a... I'm not sure how that one works.
I think it's bigger.
Honestly.
I think that card pulling cards out of your deck and putting them in that top pool.
Right, but the is a mark of apathy, right? So,
I get you.
yeah.
Okay.
Semantically, where do we stand on that one?
I'm gonna leave it up to you. You're better with semantics than I am. I am a very much like present opinions as facts sort of person, and that's hardly where semantics are concerned.
Same, but my opinions are just better than yours.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Now Sinto just has a little bit of a problem with too much card draw. He actually can't get enough cards out of his hand to make a good Acolyte Volcano turn on the follow-up.
Mind Control Tech is
annoying.
It's a card you want to hold on to and just try to, sometimes get lucky with it. That can't happen. Playing an Acolyte of Pain.
I think you can see it. Okay, there's the Hex. But I think you can see it on Sintolol's face. This hand is so awkward, and it's a little bit to do with the addition of these Lightning Bolts that we're seeing as just another Overload card, where the hand is getting so congested, the card draw rhythm just isn't smooth for him, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's having to solve these awkward hand size issues and issues against overloading on key turns where, it's just Acolyte for one card. Again, he just has to play an Acolyte for one card here because he just doesn't have a setup that allows him to maximize the Volcano card draw later on.
But now put yourself in Saiyan's shoes, where you're seeing this happen, and Sintolol just didn't kill anything.
Yeah.
I think you are quite okay with going in pretty hard here.
Okay.
And putting Sintolol to a big test, and there's a naturalize. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's a kind of important one.
That's a Saronite gone. He has already played one, though.
This is another important one.
Okay, that is huge, but it's not a breaker just yet. Everything still works. Everything still works.
Oh! Sintolol! A crushing blow on the burn. He just concedes. Insane!
It doesn't work anymore.
Oh my gosh! Twice on a big stage in a crucial match, Sintolol has the only card left in the deck that matters. Burned away. The Archmage and the Shutterwalker. We were just talking about the Archmage earlier. Oh my gosh. My head's gonna explode.
That was insane. And I really, as crazy as that was, you have to rewind. There was a point, turn 5, where immediately I said, this hand is too big. I don't like the size of this hand. Let's start getting some cards out of here. But it's that awkward build of the deck he had with the extra overload cards and just drawing all of them made it so difficult to keep his hand size low. Saiyan just recognized the window straight away. Question again, did the Acolyte need to be on the board? Was the Mana Tide doing enough work on its own when the hand size was that big and the cards were unplayable? There's so many questions you have to ask yourself about the actual plays that had agency there before you blame everything on what was admittedly an incredible moment with the Shudderwock being burned away.
And that's really, I think, what makes matchups like that so difficult for Sintolol's perspective is that he's in this card draw mechanism. He needs to find so many important cards, but there's also certain cards you want to hold for certain situations. You can't disrupt your curve by just overloading mana. That gets cards out of your hand, but it effectively doesn't because you're not using that mana on the next turn. And so, finding that right situation where you're burning the right amount of cards and then going for it, I think in this situation, just the percentage of Shutterwalk getting burned came up.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't get burned there, I think he's in great shape. But when it gets burned, it's game over.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I think that was the last round of 32 game that we are going to see on stream. We're going to move into round of 16 games very quickly. We'll get more information onto the full lineup as soon as we can. But one player that I do want to shout out, Hunter Ace, in that top 16. That is his 3rd top 16 tour stop so far. And the other 2 top 16s were a 2nd place and a 2nd place. That's an insane record of consistency so far, admirable.
It's really tough to top that. And that's really the thing about a lot of these tournaments is you celebrate the winners, but you have to keep your eye on the players who are constantly reaching that top echelon. The ones who are there time and time again, those are the ones who establish themselves as the world's elite.
How about Just Saying as well? I was having a conversation with TJ earlier. I cast him during the History of Hearthstone event that's ongoing right now, and I said to myself, as we're rolling back through time, as is the nostalgia factor of that tournament, how has Saiyan not won anything yet? He's too good.
It just takes time. He's there again, though.
Yeah, well, plenty more players saying at Hunter Race, 14 others will contest our top 16. It's coming up for you right after this break.